Let's get you 5 easy bodyweight skills in order for you to achieve. We'll show how those easy bodyweight skills can progress you even faster to more advanced bodyweight skills. Obviously, coaching here at Awesome Ninja Fitness, I have taught hundreds of athletes how to unlock advanced bodyweight skills. Also taking my experience from gymnastics, parkour, and Ninja Warrior, there are a couple of these skills that you use either for fun, for part of your workout, or you just end up learning because you really like how they are. We're going to start with the first one, which is the elbow lever. This one is a fantastic start because the only limitation is if you're able to put some weight on your wrists. If you're able to do that, you're able to do this skill by putting your elbows right inside your hip bone, and then you're lifting your legs off the ground. The easier progressions for this is by using height so that you have a little bit of wiggle room. You can start with legs tucked, which goes into straddle, which goes into legs together to make it look more impressive. Now this is awesome because it allows you to learn how to balance. How do you get your center of mass in the middle, and also to make sure that you're using the right muscles to lift up. The good news is the muscles that you use in order to lift your legs into balance are the same ones that you would use in a planche. Obviously not at the same degree, but it gets you ready for that advanced move. This is such an easy move to get to. You're probably going to progress very quickly. Moving on into the croc elbow lever, with the goal being a one arm elbow lever. Starting with a croc, again, you're putting your elbow right at the exact same spot. You are just turning your body more at 45 degrees. All the weight is mostly on one arm, with the other one helping to balance. Same progressions with tucked legs, legs straight, and legs together. This also sees if your wrist can take the pressure in order to get into one arm. The good news is the placement of your arm and body is the exact same, and the progressions are the exact same. Again, the only limiting factor is how much pressure you can put onto your wrist. That's it. So theoretically, getting to the one arm elbow lever compared to other advanced moves, you can get this one pretty quickly. Simply work on the highest progression that you can do. Aim to hold it for about 10 seconds. You only need to work on this move for 1 to 2 minutes max, or until you start feeling uncomfortable. Now, another amazing looking skill is the human flag. However, that takes a lot of core strength and it takes a lot of time. It's also not your main abs, it's more of your obliques, which isn't really used a lot in the other advanced moves. So let's find a core move that's similar to the human flag, looks just as impressive, but it helps you with front levers and back levers. I'm talking about the lever flag. The only limitation about this move is if your shoulder is able to hold your entire weight. And the other limitation would be shoulder mobility. You're just putting your arms behind your back and then you're holding onto a pole. Your arm is acting like a chair which holds your entire body weight. So the other arm that's in front of you is holding the pole in order to help you balance and stay there. Then you're lifting your legs and holding straight. Do you see how these moves also help with the front lever? Same thing as helping with the legs and the core, those muscles will be able to hold it. So you're able to hold that, you're on your way to learn the front lever with a move that looks kind of cool. This barely works on your abs because your arm is the main thing that's holding onto it. So this one you don't really need to add to any workout progressions because it doesn't really lead to anything else. To get into the human flag, we're going to do a full breakdown tutorial on the next video on how to get into the human flag. For now, the simplest thing is the prerequisite to know if you are able to do the human flag right out the gate without even practicing it. You just need to be able to do a one arm handstand against the wall for 5 seconds. The assisted handstand, well, you'll be working on that while you're working on the handstands, which we've done an entire breakdown on. And if you're able to hang onto one arm for 5 seconds. Now, speaking of hanging, let's actually learn a really cool move that helps you with hanging. Now, this one will feel more like a party trick, but did you know that the average person in their early 20s can't even hang on to a bar for about 90 seconds? There's a reason why on those carnivals that have hang on the bars for 100 seconds is extremely popular because not many people could do it normally, and now the bar spins, which makes it even harder. And we can learn this move, which is the one arm hang L-sit. I say it's a party trick, but it's not actually that difficult. If you can do an L-sit and you can do a one arm hang, the L-sit doesn't make the one arm hang that much harder. So I would suggest simply starting with hanging leg raises, and at the top, you're just holding it for 2 to 5 seconds before you lower down. Eventually, you're working on one leg straight, one leg bent, and then you have your legs straight. At the end of the set, you want to dead hang for as long as you can. If for whatever reason you are unable to hang onto your body weight, that is not a problem. I've worked with a lot of athletes who want to get into Spartan races and obstacle course racing, and a lot of times if they're not able to hold their own body weight, it takes about 3 months just to be able to do monkey bars. So you would start with all these leg raises on the floor or on the ground, or sometimes they have the machines where instead of hanging, it's where you're hanging on your forearms, but we're trying to use as little equipment as possible, so ideally you're doing it on the ground. At the same time, when you're working on hanging, again, you work on the easiest progression you can. You're starting with hanging and using some sort of assistance such as a box or somewhere you can put your feet. Then the next progression, when you're freely dead hanging, you are slowly putting more weight on one arm versus the other, and then eventually you're hanging it on one arm. Ideally, you're working on the one arm hangs once you're able to hang it only for about 6 to 10 seconds. Any of these moves that we've talked about, even advanced moves, when it works on holding the skill, they progress faster with low reps. So something that's difficult for 10 seconds, you're going to progress faster than if it gets to 30 seconds, a minute and a half, so on and so forth. I say this trick ends up being a party trick because just hanging or challenging someone to see if they can hang for 90 seconds and just do that as a bet, you're going to show how difficult it actually is for the average person. But once you've unlocked the leg raise and once you unlock the one arm hang, then there you go. You already got this really cool and unique move. So now we're working on hanging, we're also working on core, but let's make something a little bit simpler. We need to work on our legs, and something else we haven't worked on is that mental capacity. So when you're working on these advanced moves or these upper body moves, there's no way you're going to be working on every single move all the time. It needs to be spread out, and at one point you need to work on your legs. We just did something about the pistol squat, but there's something easier that we can get to, which is just balancing on the rails. Being in balance is not something that we usually practice in traditional fitness. That's because that's not the goal for most traditional fitness. It's just about increasing full range of motion and strength, not necessarily balancing. Now you look at these amazing feats in parkour and see what they do. A huge aspect of parkour is that mental aspect of training. So if we're balancing on a rail, we're also building that mental capacity of fighting through something that is very easy physically. Being about to fall and getting your counterbalance back also works on so many other senses such as spatial awareness, limb awareness, that's going to help you for advanced moves such as flips and tricks later on. Also, the idea for this is you're slowly building up on height. There's also a confidence booster that it builds, in which when you are first able to balance or walk on something that's higher up, the good news is you can also work on pistol squats at the same time as these. Combine those two together and you have a very impressive move. This one is not a flashy move. This is more of a interpersonal move that we get to work on between all the other exercises and skills. You can balance anywhere on the floor completely on your own, and you can be working on this while brushing your teeth, making food, or just waiting in line. Start with balancing on one leg, start moving that other leg that's not touching the ground in different positions. You also learn to balance with your eyes closed to really focus on those senses in your body without relying on sight. Then you're moving on things such as a simple piece of plank of wood, and then eventually rails if you're able to build one or get one, but it's completely unnecessary. And the last one that's not a specific move, but a set of moves, which is animal movements. Now hold up, I know we're talking about specific moves, but this is one that is going to set you up for the most success for all advanced moves. There's a reason when you look at dancers, there's just something about them that's awe-inspiring. They could just be waiting, wiggling their arms a bit, hearing a music and tapping their feet, and there's something about the way they move their body that they're fully connected with who they are. Their entire body is in their control. Now how can we get there if we're starting from nothing? Well, these are the animal movements, such as cat walks, crab walks, duck walks, and then there's a lot of alternative moves in which you're moving within your body, such as the transitions, scorpion switch, kick throughs. It also builds that mind-body connection, mobility, and you're moving your body in different positions that traditional fitness does not fit. But if I had to pick one beginner move that transitions to an advanced move in animal movements, would simply be the cat crawl into the scorpion switch to go into the crab walk. Now most people, mobility is a huge issue even when they do some sort of fitness, and you being able to work on this and stretch your entire body and do this smoothly just takes a little bit of practice, already sets you up higher than what the average person is even in fitness. Now if you want to move up to a more advanced move, one of my favorite is tiger pounces, in which you're jumping from feet to hands. Now yes, wrist will also be a limitation, but there's something about seeing someone move like a gorilla, pouncing in front, and you can even pause, hold it to a handstand, and once you've learned on other moves such as the frog stand to handstand, you can kick up into a handstand and it looks even cooler. A dive into a handstand, how cool is that? But start with just being able to move your body. But there you go, we have so many beginner moves and also how that sets you up for more advanced moves. And I'm sure even just watching this, I encourage you that you want to go try this on your own. Everyone here on the live call in the community, we have worked on some of the moves already, and we'll follow up in the Q&A in other easier moves. And in fact, we're probably even going to try these together in the live call. If you want to join the community, there should be a link down below. It's obviously free. Go ahead and join, and let's get you to unlock your full body's potential. Get the strength, skills, and freedom of movement of a bodyweight athlete. And while you're working on these moves, don't forget to stay awesome.